NATO defense ministers are gathering in Brussels for 2 days of high-level talks. The meeting comes amid growing tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Among those present is acting U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper, who only just took over the job days ago.
Mr. Esper will be seeking to shore up support from defense allies over deteriorating U.S. relationship with Iran, even as President Donald Trump and President Hassan Rouhani continue to fire insults at each other. Speaking to reporters ahead of the trip, Mr. Esper said that he wanted to assure NATO allies that the issue goes beyond Iran versus the United States.
I want to assure them that we are not seeking conflict with Iran. The United States is not looking to go to war with Iran. Rather, we want to get into a diplomatic path. And I think my discussions with them will be, and has been beginning already, is to work with us. We need to kind of broaden out the engagement on this, and we all need to work together to get Iran on a diplomatic path. This is not Iran versus the United States. This is the Iran certainly versus the region, and arguably the broader global environment. So we need to all work together and get on a diplomatic path and reach a new, better agreement than what we had before.
For more on NATO, our correspondent Ira Spitzer joins us now from Brussels. So, Ira, how much support is the U.S. likely to get from NATO over its Iran strategy?
Well, the escalating tension between the U.S. and Iran is actually not on the official agenda here at NATO headquarters in this defense ministerial meeting, but we heard from NATO Secretary General a short while ago and did say that the U.S. Acting Defense Secretary does plan to raise the issue, and it's certainly something that will be discussed during the summit. Now, it's a very complicated issue for some NATO members, specifically those members that were involved in the Iran nuclear deal, and that would be the UK, France, and Germany. They were not happy when the United States unilaterally withdrew from that deal. However, now what appears to be on the verge of happening is that Iran has threatened to raise enhance its uranium enrichment program to levels that would exceed that agreement, which would force those NATO allies to react. So I think with this meeting here, one thing that those NATO allies will be looking at is some of the evidence that the United States has as far as some of the malign activities that it accuses Iran of in the recent weeks. So I'm sure they will be discussing that. But I think the strategy really from the NATO perspective is one of de-escalation. So if they feel that the U.S. can present a plan which would lead to that path, I think the U.S. and its acting defense secretary will find more support in that regard.
Ira, what else is likely to be discussed over the next couple of days?
Well, lots on the agenda here in Brussels. One of the major topics is the INF nuclear non-proliferation agreement between the United States and Russia that NATO says that Russia is now in violation of, and that stipulates the short and medium range missiles that those countries can possess. So NATO has accused Russia of being in violation of that agreement, and it says that Russia only has until August 2nd to come into compliance, or else NATO will have to respond. Now, NATO has not said much about what exactly that response would entail, saying that the priority is to bring Russia back into compliance. But certainly that is the major topic here, as well as several other issues such as Iran, as you mentioned, also NATO's developing space program and the mission in Afghanistan. So really a lot going on here. And of course, this all comes just a few days ahead of the G20 summit in Japan, where NATO leaders as well as others will have a chance to speak at an even higher level about some of these controversial issues.